quadratic. So let's say we're given x squared minus 2x minus 24 equals 0. We know how to solve this by the PQ method, but by completing the square, let's go through the steps. First, you will get the whole number by itself. So you add 24 to both sides. So you end up with x squared minus 2x equal positive 24. Then you would take the number that's connected to x, which is negative 2. You would divide it by 2. So you take that number first. Step 2, you take it and divide it by 2, which will give you negative 1. And step 3, you would square the negative 1, and that will give you positive 1. So what you would do is you would say x squared minus 2x plus 1, and therefore you do a plus 1 on both sides. What you've just done to the left side is complete a perfect square. What you see in step 2 is what shows up in the perfect square. So you've completed x minus 1 squared equals 25. And to solve this, you square root both sides. And so you end up with x minus 1 and it is equal to plus or minus 5. And then you add 1 to both sides. And so the 1's go away, you end up with x is equal to positive 5 plus 1 is 6. And negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. So x is equal to a positive 6 and a negative 4. So let's try sides. So we have m squared plus 4m equal negative 13. So what you do first is you take the number connected to m or x, whatever letter you have. That's step 1. Step 2 is you take that number divided by 2, which will give you 2. Step 3 is you take the 2 and you square it, and that's what you'll end up with on both sides. So what you'll end up having is m squared plus 4m plus 4 equals to negative 13 plus 4. So what you've just completed was a perfect square, and it always is what you get in step 2. So it's going to be m plus 2 squared equal negative 13 plus 4 will give us a negative 9. So what we do now is we square root both sides. And so we end up with m plus 2 is equal, remember if you take the square root of a negative, it's going to end up with yi. So you got plus or minus I square root of 9, or I3, because square root of 9 is just 3. Well, let me just write it out in steps. So plus or minus I square root of 9. And so since you have the square root of 9, you got m plus 2 equal plus or minus 3i, because square root of 9 will just give you 3 out. And so you subtract 2 from both sides, and what you'll end up having is m is equal to negative 2 plus or minus 3i. And this is your solution. Let's say we have a problem 3w squared minus w equals 24. Well, to complete the square, you can't have a number connected to your squared part. So what we need to do is divide both sides, or we need to divide everything by 3. So we divide this by 3, divide that by 3, and divide that by 3. So this will go away and leave us with w squared. This will give us a w divided by 3, or you can call it 1/3 w, and equal to 8. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we already isolated the number. Now we have to take the part that's connected to the w, so that's step 1, which will give us a negative 1/3. Okay? And step 2, we take the negative 1/3 and divide it by 2. Same thing as multiplying it by a half. So that'll give us a negative 1/6. And then in step 3, we take our negative 1/6 and we square it. So it's going to give us a positive 1/36. So that's what we add to both sides. So we have w squared minus w over 3 plus 1/36 equal 8 plus 1/36. So what we're going to end up having, this perfect square ends up being w minus 1/6 squared. And this side, we got to have 8 over 1 plus 1 over 36. So we got to get a common denominator, which is 36. So we have to multiply top and bottom by 36. So that's going to end up giving us a 289 over 36. Because 8 times 36 is 288. So we have W minus 1 over 6 squared equals 289 over 36. And so to solve this, we have to square root both sides. So we end up with W minus 1 over 6 equals square root of 289 is 17. You got plus or minus. And the square root of 36 is 6. So it's plus or minus 17 over 6. So what we got to do now is add a 1 over 6 to both sides. So doing this separately, our two answers are going to be, the first answer is going to be a positive 17 over 6 plus 1 over 6, which will give us an 18 over 6. And if you reduce it, gives us a 9 over 3, which comes out to 3. So one of our answers are 3. The second answer, we got a negative 17 over 6 plus 1 over 6, which is going to give us a negative 16 over 6, which reduces to negative 8 over 3. So positive 3 and negative 8 over 3 are our answers.